this company now the same vision that you had 4 years ago when you started it, or 3.5 years ago when you started it?
There are pieces and parts of it that you could go back and read the original business plan and you'd say, yeah, that makes sense. But we've adapted along the way. We've always stayed core to the mission statement, which is we empower even the one-person print distributor to take on industry giants. Our goal is to build software that the majors are using and then distribute it through the little guys and the big guys who don't have access to it. So we do that, but different products, different product lines, different types of software have been sort of our credo over the past few years. We've adapted, we've made changes based on market conditions, based on feedback from the market, based on what we found to work and not to work, and we couldn't be happier with where we are and the product that we have. We just can't even keep up with the demand for it, which has been awesome.
Oh, that's an awful problem.
It's horrible. It's terrible.
Yes, it's
our
really
investors
terrible.
really, you can imagine.
I am
wish,
sure.
Yeah, wish we could just slow down.
Yes, just
yeah.
Right. With this progress that you've made, and I'm not asking you about any customers at this point in time. They're probably pretty proprietary, so we won't get into that. But I think that the audience should know that this is a huge lesson to be learned about business. I know when I started a company, 3 years later, it was a different company. And John's isn't a different company, but it's different as far as it's a little bit different, kind of tweaked differently now than it was a couple years ago. And we all have to be able to roll with what our customers demand, and roll with new technology, and roll with a competitive marketplace. And I don't care what kind of business you're in, whether you're a commodity or you've got proprietary products, you just have to be able to turn on a dime. You got to be like a running back that fakes one way and goes the other. It's just, that's what has to be done. So that is a huge lesson, and we're only a few minutes into this interview, John, but this is a big lesson that everybody's got to learn. When you go into starting your company, it might not be the same company a couple years later.
Yeah, that's right, and it's interesting because we built our first version of this software, and we took it out there. We found out that certain pieces of this were extremely desirable, and people loved it, but they couldn't use it because of the wrapper that we had around it. Our market approach, the way we thought we would distribute it, was a complete inhibitor. And so we made a decision halfway through, a year and a half into this business, to stop selling, to go raise more money in order to kind of rip out these components people wanted and refactor our market approach. And since doing that, and obviously that was a big decision because we had to decide to, how much equity were we willing to give up to make this fundamental change. But that shift, that pivot, I guess you could say, was fundamental to where we are now.